brother, who kind of like runs the FBG label. Why would he have a bunch of like, do people keep for their own personal use? No, right? I don't know too much about like that's some drugs, but no, right? So that kind of seems like they're doing some drug dealing, right? 21 kilos?
The feds just shook the whole city, and Future's brother, FBG Casino, is at the center of it. A massive Homeland Security sweep hit an Airbnb in Forest Park, snatching Casino with federal-level precision and leaving Atlanta in shock. Behind the flashy lifestyle and the FBG ties, agents say he was moving way more than anyone ever imagined, and the amount they found tells the whole story without even saying it. November 19th, 2025, Casino's world flipped. Federal agents kicked in the door, and Casino tried to run, but you can't outrun a task force that already knows the whole play. They found $4,000 in his pockets, but what was hidden inside the spot told a much bigger story. 21 kilos, nearly $500,000 in cash, a sealer, a money counter, a Glock. The kind of setup that doesn't appear overnight. The kind of setup that makes the feds start connecting dots to everything and everyone around you. And those dots, they stretch far, all the way from California to Atlanta. A 23-year-old from Coachella, Montello Diaz, popped up in the mix too. Anytime there's interstate movement, you already know who steps in. And the agents that hit this house weren't playing local games. This was Homeland Security territory, the kind of team that doesn't come unless they're chasing something bigger than one man. But here's where it gets messy. Casino wasn't hiding. He was in Future's Feds Did a Sweep video surrounded by cash and product props. Or maybe not props at all. He did interviews talking about the streets. He even dropped a tape called Ex-Drug Dealer. And now, every clip, every lyric, every moment looks like a breadcrumb the feds kept in a folder. People always wondered why Casino stayed in the streets with a brother worth hundreds of millions. Pride? Independence? Loyalty? Whatever the reason, that loyalty might cost him everything now. He's 41, facing a mandatory 10 to life, and the feds love patterns. They used him with YSL, and people are whispering they might be setting up the same kind of blueprint again. Because when your family, your label, your lifestyle, and your business all sit next to each other, the government doesn't see lines. They see a potential organization. Lyrics become evidence. Money becomes movement. And one arrest becomes the start of something much bigger if prosecutors want to push it. Right now, Future is likely staying far away from anything that even looks like trouble. But the feds don't move randomly. If they decide this case goes beyond Casino, they will dig until they find something that fits the story they want to build. And the industry knows, once they choose a target, they don't stop at the bottom. Casino had every opportunity to walk away, but the streets don't let go easy. And sometimes, a person doesn't want them to. Now he's sitting on a case that could freeze his whole life. And the hip-hop world is watching closely because this might not just be a Casino situation, this could be the early stage of something a lot bigger. The feds just sent a shockwave through Atlanta, and at the center of it stands Future's blood brother, FBG Casino, now facing charges that could bury him for the rest of his life. A Homeland Security task force didn't just show up, they swept in like they were closing a chapter they'd been reading for a long time. And when they hit that Airbnb in Forest Park, everything that was whispered in the streets suddenly became very real. November 19th, 2025, the day Rico DeVille Boyce, the world knows him as Casino, ran straight into federal heat. Agents moved with precision, the kind that only comes when they already know exactly what they're walking into. Casino tried to make a run through the side door, but you don't outrun the feds. Not when they've been piecing together your steps for months, maybe longer. They grabbed him with $4,000 stuffed in his pockets, but that was just the surface. Inside the spot, agents found the real story. 21 kilos, nearly $400,000 in cash, a money counter, vacuum sealer, Glock 19, another $80,000 tucked inside a designer bag. These aren't details, these are signals. Signals that the operation they'd been watching wasn't built overnight and wasn't built by one man. Signals the feds love to follow upward. And upward is exactly where the whispers started drifting, toward FBG, toward the label, toward Future himself. Not accusations, but questions. Questions federal agents tend to ask quietly long before they knock on a door. But Casino's situation didn't begin in 2025. This story stretches back a decade. In 2013, he put out Ex-Drug Dealer, talking about leaving the streets behind. By 2017, he was doing interviews saying trapping is done, warning people not to incriminate themselves online. And yet, he was in videos holding stacks, sitting beside weapons, flexing in Rolls Royces. Clips that seemed like entertainment then, but now look like puzzle pieces laid out for the wrong audience.
The California connection, 23-year-old Montelo Diaz, made things even more serious. Anytime product moves from the West Coast to the South, that's federal territory, interstate distribution. And the agents who hit Casino weren't just locals. This was Homeland Security. These are the people who look for networks, not individuals. But the heaviest question people keep whispering is simple. Why now? Casino had been moving publicly for years. Interviews, videos, posts, appearances, nothing new. So why did the Fed strike in November 2025? Someone talking? A bigger target in sight? A RICO blueprint already being drawn in the background. The same kind of wrapped around YSL, around BMF, around crews before them. And here's where it hits even deeper. Future, worth millions, with a global brand, with a clean public image, now sitting uncomfortably close to the edge of a situation he didn't create but can't fully escape. Helping his brother could look suspicious. Staying distant looks cold. Every move gets examined through a federal lens now. Casino's 41, facing 10 years minimum, life maximum. All for a life he didn't need to keep living. For loyalty, pride, independence, whatever it was, it led him here. And now the streets are buzzing louder than ever. Is this just Casino's fall, or the first chapter of something much bigger? The federal sweep that just hit Atlanta didn't feel like a routine arrest. It felt like the beginning of something much bigger. At the center of it stands Future's blood brother, FBG Casino, now facing charges that could lock him away for decades, maybe even life. On November 19, 2025, Homeland Security agents stormed an Airbnb in Forest Park and took down 41-year-old Rico DeVille Boyce with the kind of precision that only comes after months of watching and waiting. Casino tried to escape through a side door, but you can't outrun a task force that already knows every move you're about to make. He had around $4,000 on him, nothing compared to what agents found inside. That's where the real story started to take shape. 21 kilograms of illegal product, $380,000 in cash stacked and wrapped, a money counting machine, a vacuum sealer, a Glock 19, and another $80,000 tucked inside a designer bag. That wasn't chaos, that was structure, that was consistency. That was the kind of setup that raises eyebrows far above the street level. And then came the California connection. A 23-year-old named Montelo Diaz from Coachella got pulled into the case too. West Coast to down south, that's an interstate pipeline. And once product crosses state lines, the feds don't ask questions, they take over. The team that hit Casino wasn't local police. This was Homeland Security, the same unit built to dismantle networks, not lone operators. Casino's story stretches much further than that November raid. In 2013, he dropped a mixtape called Ex-Drug Dealer, claiming he'd left the streets behind. In 2017, he was in interviews saying trapping was over, warning people not to incriminate themselves online. But the videos he filmed, the stacks of money, the flashy cars, the weapons, the entourage, now read like scenes federal agents quietly bookmarked. Even his appearance in Future's Feds Did a Sweep music video looks different in hindsight. What once looked like entertainment now looks like foreshadowing. The biggest question floating in the air is simple. Why now? Casino wasn't hiding. He'd been public for years. Interviews, videos, social media, everything out in the open. So what made the feds move in November 2025? Did someone talk? Did investigators find a new link? Or is Casino just the first domino they're preparing to knock over? Future stands in a complicated spot now. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, runs a major label, and has global influence. But when your own brother gets caught with 21 kilos and nearly $500,000, federal agents don't ignore the family tree. Too much support looks suspicious. Too much distance looks cold. And federal investigators don't look at music, business, and family separately. They look at how they overlap. Casino faces a mandatory minimum of 10 years and up to life. And the whispers in Atlanta suggest this isn't just about him. This might be the early stage of a much larger federal investigation, one that could reach further into free bands than anyone expected. More updates are coming. This story is only just beginning. Don't forget to subscribe and comment.
Hello, friend. Max B been out barely 3 days and the whole internet is already blowing up with people accusing him of snitching. The talk didn't pop up out of nowhere either. These rumors been floating around long before he walked out those prison gates, but the second that Max B's home news dropped, the whole timeline went wild. Everybody scrambling to figure out what's facts and what's just street gossip being pushed for clicks.
Max, what they say? We outside. Let's get it mowed.
They thought it wouldn't happen. They lied. The devil's a lie.
See, Max originally got slapped with a 75-year sentence, and somehow that thing got chopped all the way down to 17. That's when folks online started giving him the heavy side eye like, how you shave off 58 years without telling somebody something? And that's where the whole debate cracks open. Did Max cooperate or not? The craziest part is Max ain't even fully denying it. He straight up said, man, I did enough time, and if I told a little something, I told it, bro. Then he added, anybody who got a problem with me cooperating on things people already know, man, they some haters now. That's a bold statement from someone who just touched down, and the streets definitely caught that energy. Here's how the whole mess kicked off. Max B caught that monster 75-year sentence because he was the one who put the whole setup in motion. There was the stripper who was really into Max, trying to impress him heavy. And if you know anything about Max back then, he was smooth, real smooth, with that old school game to have folks doing anything to stay in his lane. So she hits Max like she been chilling with these dudes who keep flashing money, and one even pulled out a backpack stacked with $50,000 cash.
Have sex with my hot wife all around the world. It's nothing. I'm not worried about this shit, bro. I got a whole life to live, man. I already gave back time on the 75 ball, man. I did a dub and came back and got my shit on PC off. I'm supposed to not cop out. So you telling me if they got a chance to come back right now and cop out, they wouldn't cop out? Come on, man. Because, you know, when you cop out, they make you do a statement version that ain't facts or whatever. That's part of the plea deal. That's why it's called a plea deal, man. But I had to do 20 years to do that. So keep that in mind. That ain't no shit. I was out in a year. I did that in a year. Now I had to let go through their process. Blew, went through the whole 3-4 denials, done up. I'm saying, then I found my shit and got relief. So if some niggas want you to ride with them, you know, misery love company. Not on my watch. I got shit to do, but we ain't doing that. I can't stay in here with these. I gotta come home and get rich.
Yeah. Max heard that and told her straight up, link with them again, and when you do, I'm sending my brother to pull up and handle business. His brother went to the hotel ready to run the play, but things got ugly real fast. One of the dudes reached for a gun, shots went off, chaos broke out, and one man ended up losing his life. That's how Max, his brother, and the stripper all got wrapped up into a murder conspiracy case that changed everything for them. Max B's version of the story is wild. He basically saying, look, he got hit with 75 years, he sat down and did 17, and by the time he got that deal, he felt like he gave the system enough. He said his brother tried 4 appeals, all denied, and Max felt like there was no chance of ever seeing him free again, so he might as well cooperate, sign off, and explain what really happened to secure his own freedom. But here's the twist. His brother is furious. He's saying that's cooperating, that's crossing the line, and that he's still fighting for his life while Max walked away.
Been countered. I think we're hearing that Max B's as solid as they come. He did not cooperate, brother.
Max B, I sent you all the paperwork.
I'm watching the 1090 Jake thing. It said that he
No, I don't care about 1090. 1090 is just a regular dude like everybody else. The documents, this is what you're looking for. Actually here. Okay. Let me guide you directly to what you want to read.
Okay, give me a paperwork breakdown.
I sent you the paperwork. This is going to guide you right to where you want to read. This is one part where he's admitting that due to his cooperation, he should be given leniency. Here, that's
what page is
other
this?
Part that's Max B's paperwork.
Okay, yeah, but,
the other part
you sent me a document. What page is on it?
I don't look at it. It'll tell you that. You have all the documents. You even have the appeal. There's another part where you'll see Max B told the detectives where the girl involved in the murder robbery where she works, with strip club, and where
Is that
she lives.
snitching though? I've heard from
Hell
people.
yeah, that's snitching. See, this is the part.
Hold on. If I'm a street dude, let's say me and you are street dudes, and they said, do you know where Wack works? And I said, I know Wack does podcasts or does interviews with DJ Vlad. Am I snitching?
Listen, let's paint the right picture. Academics.
Yeah.
This lady and this dude was involved in a murder robbery. We know you have some involvement as well. What do you know about them? She works at Scarlet Strip Club and lives at this location. They're letting him know she is an interest. He knows she's of interest because they put the play together.
Now, his brother's big message is basically, bro, you just ruined my shot at freedom. This whole thing has the streets arguing loud because everyone got a different take on whether Max was justified or not. As you heard, Max B said it himself, my bro filed 4 appeals and none of them worked. He ain't getting out, so I'ma just tell him what happened, own up to it, and walk out after 17 years. But the moment Max touched down, Wack 100 stepped in like he'd been waiting for this moment. He called Max out heavy, saying, nah, Max, this wasn't some last-minute cooperation. You've been talking since day one. Wack insisted Max didn't just make a deal after doing 17 years. He claimed Max actually cooperated before he was even sentenced, and Wack didn't stop there. He said whether you talk before or after, telling is still telling. Then the wild part came out because there's actual paperwork floating around backing Wack's claim. During Max B's own appeal, his lawyer, referring to Max by his real name, Wingate, argued that Max got hit with too much time and the judge didn't acknowledge any real mitigating factors. The lawyer tried to explain that this was a one-time situation and Max would never end up around that same woman again, saying the whole thing was unlikely to ever happen twice. But then came the part the internet ran with.
Some shit like misspelled words and all this shit, but we went to the thing and found the real court documents. And regardless of the misspelled words, what she was saying, what she was saying was in there. He definitely, he told where that woman lived at, where she worked at. Like,
I've been saying that though, Wack. This ain't no see. Nobody want to listen to me because I ain't got no platform.
Oh no,
you know what I'm saying, nigga ain't can, so that's what it is.
On the phone right now. So here go the thing.
Oh,
right?
all right.
Now, we got past that telling. Now, here goes the next thing. We see in 2012, the appeal was denied, right? But then in 2016, he get a 55-year time reduction, right? Now, I'm hearing about whatever went on with his attorney, but here goes the problem. If the attorney, it was misrepresentation for your defense attorney, right? Whatever the is gonna go on, whatever the shit they saying is the reason why they gonna reduce your time, right? Then it's gonna be documented. You can't find why he got the time reduction, bro.
Exactly. But now look, this is what I'm on the process now. I just hired a new lawyer, so I got another lawyer, my lawyer, right? But I'm filing an appeal right now that I got going on. So I gotta, I'm about to get the paperwork because my lawyer about to get it. But you do know, right? Anytime that you take a sentence, this is anybody that got common knowledge. If you know, was anybody that been in the system, when you take a plea, you got to tell them what you pleaded to. You can't just take no plea and then walk out the courtroom like George Jefferson. It don't work like that.
The lawyer himself admitted in official court documents that Max cooperated with law enforcement. He even admitted Max helped investigators locate the woman involved, Conway. So right from the jump, police already had Max talking to them. And according to the files, the cops even told Max, relax, bro, you're not in trouble. That's when everything started to twist in a way that made people look at Max B's whole case with brand new eyes. Police told Max B they were only trying to find this woman because she was last seen with the dudes that night. Now, nobody fully knows why officers went straight to Max in the first place. Maybe someone mentioned his name, maybe they followed some lead. But what's clear is the police believe she was connected to the homicide, so they pressed Max for info, and he gave it up. He told her where she stayed, where she liked to be, and who she hung around. And that right there is what set Wack 100 off. Wack is basically saying, bro, you admitted to cooperating. You gave him details, and then you got out like 50 years early while your brother's still sitting in there fighting for his life. Wack's argument hit hard. He claimed Max didn't talk once. He talked twice. First during the investigation when he told the police where the woman was.
But see they're not saying he took a plea. He's saying because his attorney got caught doing some things or whatever.
Nah, that's not what fuck what he's saying. This my life right here. I'm telling you what happened. So what happened was his lawyer was his rap lawyer at the same time, right? So what he's saying is his argument was, okay, being that my lawyer was my criminal lawyer and my rap lawyer, he never told me about no deal. Had he told me about his deal, I would have took the deal. So now the court was saying, okay, this is a conflict of interest, right? So being that this is a conflict of interest, what they did was, supposedly what they supposed to do was, okay, we'll offer you the deal, right? Because they didn't want to overturn the whole case. So we'll offer you a deal, which was 20 years. But now, in the midst of taking this 20 years, you still have to give a factual basis for your plea. You can't just take the 20 years and that's it. It don't work like that. In no court system in America. You got to explain to them why you taking this 20 years and what was your part in taking this 20 years. See what I'm saying?
So he got to give something up.
And again, years later, when he signed off to secure that early release. Now, Wack is asking the whole internet, why does Max B get a pass? Why are people calling it what it is just because he's a legend? That question spun the whole discussion into a fiery online debate with fans split straight down the middle. It got so heated, Wack even pulled up on Academic's platform, ready to go back and forth about the whole situation live. Most people listening to this story ain't from the streets, and honestly, that's perfectly okay. You're not built for that kind of pressure, that non-stop chaos, and you're not supposed to be. So when regular folks hear all this, they react in a normal, logical way like, man, if the cops came asking where that woman was and I didn't pull the trigger, I'd just tell them where she at. In your mind, maybe you hyped somebody up to go rob someone, but you never told them to hurt anybody, so how could you be wrapped into a whole murder conspiracy case? To everyday people, that actually makes sense. You think with logic, not with a street code mindset. But in that street world, it don't work like that at all. Over there, even breathing one word to police, unless it's talk to my lawyer, is considered snitching, no debate. That's why this whole Max B situation turned into such a messy conversation online. Wack 100 is standing firm on his position, saying Max didn't just talk, he talked in detail.
Anytime you give any information up on anybody else other than yourself, you're telling. And this is why your crowd is not going to understand. Our rules are our rules. We don't give a damn about what the civilians or the L7 think. The minute Max B told that detective where that woman lived and where she worked, and they apprehended her, she then told on Pooh Sims, who got 120 to life, and she did like 8 years or so. She went to jail as well. You tell it. And if you read the document, you're going to read.
But I heard she told on Max B as well.
Listen, it don't matter. He told on her first.
Wack is convinced Max really cooperated. No sugarcoating, no street excuses, no rewriting the past. And if we keep it real, the paperwork and the interviews make it hard for anybody to deny that something was said along the way. But the bigger reason Wack is catching so much heat right now isn't just because he called Max B out, it's because he's been calling everybody out lately. Folks are exhausted. They're like, come on, man, can we celebrate one rapper coming home without you dragging somebody through the mud? People know Wack is making valid points, but they're tired of the negativity. They're begging for one win, one moment to just enjoy without a dark cloud hanging over it. That's the whole vibe online. Frustration mixed with facts. Everybody knows deep down Max talk, but folks don't want to admit it out loud. They're like, man, can we just enjoy one rapper touching down without all this drama exploding again? But Wack is not letting anything slide. He's like, nah, bro, call it what it is.
Wack even compared Max's situation to other cases, saying Push called the rat, T Grizzly called rat, Max B too. Meanwhile, people online are practically begging him to chill, saying, can we please get one win without another scandal? But here's the truth. This generation doesn't react to snitching the same way the older era did. Folks have become so desensitized that unless someone is literally on the stand pointing their finger, the internet shrugs it off. People stop treating the street code like something sacred, and Wack is angry that the culture let it slide this far. And Wack didn't stop there. He even hopped on a jail call with Max B's own brother, the same brother claiming Max told on him. And now it's not just rumors anymore. Even Max himself has admitted it. Max said, "Yeah, I copped out. Yeah, I told them what they wanted to hear after 20 years. His reasoning was simple. He was hit with 75 years, his brother's 4 appeals got denied, and he felt like he had nothing left to lose. To Max, it was pure survival. He felt trapped, cornered, done. But his brother, he ain't buying that explanation at all. He's still locked up, still fighting appeals, still trying to claw his way out, and feels like his own family cut off his last chance at freedom. He feels like Max's statements didn't just hurt him, they straight up crushed his last shot at freedom. Now the whole scene is split in half, with people arguing loyalty versus logic, family versus survival, and everybody got something to say about it. And here's where everything really starts heating up. That jail call between Wack 100 and Max B's brother flipped the whole conversation on his head. The brother was emotional, saying, "Man, he ain't just tell, he told on me." You could hear the pain in his voice. Over 20 years down, still fighting for any opening, and now watching his own blood walk free while he's still sitting behind bars. Wack kept pushing for every detail, trying to get the full story. The brother claimed that after Max signed those papers and cooperated, the DA used that information against him in later appeals, basically locking him in even tighter. That's why he's furious. He feels like Max didn't just save himself, he buried him too. That one statement alone shook the internet and had fans arguing nonstop. Some people online are saying, "Man, Max did what he had to do. He already sat down almost 2 decades." But others are snapping back like, "Nah, if you gave info that damaged your brother's appeal, that's straight betrayal." The arguments are wild, and social media is going crazy trying to pick a side. And through all the noise, Max B's camp is staying silent. No statements, no interviews, no explanations, nothing. But one thing everybody can see clear as day is the paperwork, the court filings, the timelines, the confessions. They all line up the same way. Cooperation, confession, early release. It's right there for anyone who wants to dig into it. Now Wack is out here saying, "Don't let fame rewrite reality." He's calling out every person defending Max just because they like him, claiming the industry is turning a blind eye because they don't want to ruin the legend's comeback. And that's what got people so riled up, the double standard. If this was anybody else, the internet would have dragged him with zero hesitation. The streets are watching every move now. Folks want to know, will Max speak up again? Will his brother drop more info? Is Wack gonna expose even more paperwork? This whole situation isn't cooling off. It's getting messier by the minute. Blogs, podcasts, and YouTube channels are dissecting every single word coming from both sides like it's a crime documentary. This story is everywhere right now. Folks digging up court records, interviews, old clips, anything they can find trying to figure out who's really telling the truth. Wack 100 standing on business, heavy, doubling down like he's not backing off an inch. He keeps saying, "Ain't no confusion. The man cooperated, period." And he keeps reminding everybody that the paperwork he's talking about came straight from official court files, not rumors, not whispers, not internet guessing. But fans are split down the middle. Half the people online are saying, "Max B did his time, let that man breathe." And the other half snapping back like, "Nah, bruh. Freedom bought through betrayal don't count." And because both sides are talking loud, the whole situation just keeps getting bigger. Max B hasn't said anything publicly about the accusations, but insiders claim he's locking in on music and rebuilding his life. Word is he's been in the studio non-stop, stacking tracks, booking interviews, and mapping out a full comeback plan. But no matter how focused he is, this controversy refuses to leave his name. The same streets that once crowned him the wave god are now giving him the side eye, wondering if the love they had for him is still real or if the energy changed forever. Meanwhile, Wack 100 is keeping pressure on the whole situation. He's jumping on Clubhouse, calling out industry names, challenging anybody to dispute the paperwork. He keeps saying, "Don't get mad at me, get mad at the facts." And the way he's talking got the whole culture in a chokehold, debating loyalty, law, and what being solid even means anymore. The tension between old school street values and modern day fame is louder than ever. This ain't just about Max. It's exposing a major shift in how the culture defines loyalty. Is doing decades behind a cell still the code, or is survival starting to replace silence in this new era? That's the question blasting through every comment section right now. One thing's clear, Max B's freedom came with a heavy price. and everybody's watching to see how he carries it moving forward. Because honestly, this might be one of the clearest, most straightforward snitching accusations the rap world has seen in a long time. But here's the twist. Max is playing the game smart. He's home now, and instead of running around doing interviews, trying to argue with the internet, or trying to rewrite the narrative, he's keeping his mouth shut, moving low-key, staying silent, and pushing forward like nothing can shake him now. Max is treating silence like it's his whole shield right now. He knows the second he opens his mouth, everything flips upside down. The moment he sits in an interview and tries to clear things up, Wack 100 gonna pop out waving every document, every quote, every old clip like a trophy. And Max knows that. That's why staying silent is his safest move. And honestly, it's working. As long as Max keeps his lips sealed, his fans can defend him easy. They can say they just hating, trying to pile on him again. But the minute Max actually speaks, the floodgates burst open, and every platform gonna dissect his words non-stop. So for now, Max is moving like a real veteran, staying cool, keeping his energy steady, and walking around like the Harlem General he's always been. He's smiling in pictures, moving around calm, no drama, no back and forth, just that smooth wave energy he's known for. No clapbacks, no long speeches, just peace and motion. But don't get it twisted. The second he breaks that silence, even for a moment, this entire story might explode all over again. This whole situation is sitting on a timer, and everyone knows it. Don't forget subscribe and comments. Thanks.
Hello? Man, here we go again with another wild twist in this whole so-called alpha male universe, and this drama just won't slow down. It's like every time you blink, something even crazier jumps out the shadows. And somehow, we're right back locked onto the Paxter himself, Wesley Watson, the dude who treats chaos like it's his daily workout routine. Earlier this morning, I already broke down how this man popped up trying to chase attention by hopping on a live stream with Jack Doherty and one of the Island Boys.
Swing back, swing back, swing back, swing back. Swing face, swing. Yo, swing. Chill.
Holy shit. That's why shit doesn't work, but everyone acts like
Maybe we go to a different location or what?
Probably, yeah.
Fuck it, right?
No.
It's just so hot now. This is like, I'm anxious.
Hey, but that guy was weird.
They're stupid.
Why is he still trying?
Leave everybody.
That combo looked like the most random trio the internet has seen all week. Like three people who should never be in the same room, let alone the same live stream. And since we already covered the whole first half of that mess, you know I had to come back with part 2. Because the way the stream crashed and burned was just too wild to skip. Paxter really thought he was doing something big.
Oh, that's a hammer on that motherfucker. 2 seconds.
What's the Island Boy doing?
The waiters even go that. Of course he's going to.
Why are they still going back?
Bro, he's my homie, bro. I know that was good form. That was a good form. I see that.
No, Michael. You should low-key.
Hey, you want me just to toast this dude or what?
I like how
You should low-key, like, I feel like get out of here.
Hey, you want me just to...
But instead, he started talking in a way that made it seem like he was handing the prosecutor a gift basket full of free evidence, all while trying to look tough. It was like he kept leveling up the embarrassment in real time, making himself look even worse than he already did. And it was unbelievable to watch. In the first video, we already saw how the live stream kicked off as a straight disaster because the Island Boy came in trolling heavy. He wasted no time saying wild stuff aimed right at Wesley.
Cripple this thing real quick. You really want me to? I'm about to show you guys how it's done real quick.
Why is he still hanging out with him? Why is he still hanging around him? Bro, we gotta like kind of defuse. But like the cops, all these security guards are here.
And you could see the irritation boiling in his face, even through the screen. Every line the Island Boy dropped had Wes looking more and more tight, like he couldn't decide if he wanted to clap back or just close the app altogether. No moderation, I'm saying, he kept repeating, trying to act like nothing was getting to him, but the vibe was loud and clear. The whole first half of that stream felt like pure goofy energy. The Island Boy poking for reactions, Wes trying to hold it together, and Jack stuck in the middle looking like he wished he was somewhere else. It was chaotic, awkward, and weirdly entertaining all at once.
You weren't scared to get stabbed?
Who the stabbed me, bro?
There's a bathroom back there.
I mean, why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it?
I'll turn it up.
You're much shorter in real life.
I'm 6 foot. How tall are you?
No, no, you're not 6 foot.
Yeah, we're not gonna challenge me.
I'm not gonna challenge you. No, I'm not a hater.
I'm that dude. Definitely am close to 6 foot.
I'm not a hater, but I'm
definitely am that.
You're actually 6 foot?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
100%. We're not gonna do that.
I thought you were taller.
We're not gonna do that. Don't do that.
I mean, you're big, but you have to enhance yourself.
I mean, enhance what?
Somehow, what's your testosterone at?
That don't matter. That ain't shit. I'm 40.
And honestly, the surprising part, the Island Boy was actually the one controlling the room for a minute, tossing out those tricky questions and slick comments that had Wes stumbling all over the place. The whole thing felt like watching someone step into a ring they weren't ready for, and the punches were coming fast. Every second of that live stream just screamed trouble, and this was only the beginning. Man, Wes didn't snap the way everyone expected. He didn't fall for the rage bait at all. Instead, he slid into a whole different type of energy. And if you saw that second half of the live stream, you already know things turned into a straight-up bro meltdown that nobody on the internet was ready for. It went from trolling to something that had everybody staring at their screens like, what is happening right now? Out of nowhere, the Island Boys switched from pushing Wes's buttons to him and Wes hyping each other up like they'd been best friends for years. And then boom, they're both taking their shirts off for absolutely no reason.
Years old. If I didn't take testosterone, my dick would be. So yeah, I take
That's what I'm
testosterone.
saying.
That doesn't mean you have to overload it. If you look at
it's moderation, I'm saying.
So as you can tell, the first half of the stream was some straight up goober behavior where the Island Boy was just trying to get Wes going. And surprisingly, Wes didn't end up biting on the rage bait, but instead got going in a different way, if you know what I mean. Because for the second half of this live stream, we witnessed a bromance occur that I don't think anyone saw coming. And the Island Boy went from trolling Wes to him and Wes glazing each other and even taking their shirts off for some reason, right after the Island Boy said some really sus shit to him. And this is just all the more interesting when you consider that Wes just ended up slipping up and calling himself bisexual, and now he's out here glazing the—
And this happened right after the Island Boy said something real questionable to him. The timing was wild. And it all got even more interesting knowing Wes had just slipped up and called himself bisexual earlier. So now seeing him locked in with the dude famous for kissing his own twin brother had people raising eyebrows like crazy. I'm not judging anyone's lifestyle, but the coincidence hit the internet like a lightning bolt. And honestly, that was just the start of the weird vibe shift. The whole second half looked like these two were glued to each other, moving around the stream like a duo that suddenly couldn't stay apart. They were broing out so hard that the Island Boy even joked about being part of the Aryan Brotherhood, then leaned in like he was about to kiss Jack Doherty, while Wes is in the background sounding excited like he low-key wanted to witness it.
Hey, get that fucking pork monkey out of here. Give a fuck what? Hey, we always got Facebook. Yo, we're gang. Shut up. Bring that up. Break this guy. Facebook. Why you talking like please? We're gang. Hey, dipshit, motherfucker. Get out of his face, dipshit, motherfucker. Shut up, bitch. Get out of his face, Alfonso. Get this toad.
The whole thing had people in the comments saying, what are we watching right now? It felt like the room turned into some kind of chaotic reality show with homies in the back cheering like they were hyped for a moment they had no business cheering for. And I don't know if Wes is secretly subscribed to the Island Boys content or what, but as the night went on, they just kept getting closer. It honestly looked like he swapped Jose out and picked up a brand new favorite person to hang on to. And the only breaks between Wes hyping the Island Boy was when he went right back into trauma dumping mode. Just like in the first video where he talks for almost 40 minutes straight. Then he came back again with another long emotional monologue that lasted around 20 minutes. So picture this clearly. Wes is hyping up the island boy, who's known online for doing that strange attention-grabbing stuff with his own twin, and when he's not doing that, he's trauma dumping heavy to a bunch of young women while he's a grown 42-year-old man.
Get out of here. Yeah, dude. Cut your neck, bitch. Just pull my phone up. I got plenty of dick pics in my phone, but yeah, the is insane. But she doesn't realize that she looks like she's a retard. Like,
these girls are insane.
They're retards.
The things they do are insane.
Wes can talk. Let's run it. I'm not even gonna bust it up tonight. I'm not even gonna be up tonight. Oh my God, this is gonna be crazy. And then like she goes to bed and falls asleep. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even get tonight. I'm gonna kill everyone. Like, my life. Why the even do this? I might as well just get a hooker. I might as well just go to
The vibe was chaotic, confusing, and wild. And then for some reason, the whole crew decided it was a smart idea to go out in public after all that. Right before they stepped out, Wes and the island boy were back to hyping each other like nothing happened. And then they ended up riding together in the back of a Phantom. And honestly, I don't even want to imagine what was going on in the back of that car. This whole live stream turned into something nobody expected, and it only got stranger from there. So after all that chaos, Wes and the island boy hopped in the Phantom together like they were a brand new duo, pretty much leaving Jack off to the side like he didn't even exist. And somehow the whole crew ended up at the exact same restaurant where Wes's group had gotten into drama before, which already should have been a sign that things were about to get messy again. And of course, the energy went downhill. This time, it looked like Wes got real jealous because the island boy was talking to another dude, and the wildest part is the guy wasn't even trying to disrespect anyone. He actually seemed like he knew the island boy. But Wes was already acting fired up, like he was waiting for any reason to snap, and he instantly took it to the extreme. Instead of calming down, he flipped into full meltdown mode and started snapping on the guy like he felt threatened. Wes acted like someone was trying to steal his spotlight, and he blew up the whole vibe for no reason. And the way he started escalating things had people just staring at him like, bro, what are you doing? He went straight into loud, reckless talk, the kind of reckless talk that makes the whole room tense up, and he was throwing around stuff that definitely shouldn't be said in public. It was like he forgot he was outside and not in some old school online lobby where people used to act out for attention. It was uncomfortable to watch. And once Wes jumped in the mix, his security had to make a move, even though it looked more like they were confused about what they were supposed to do. Alfonso, the main bodyguard, tried to step up with some kind of slap-push combo, but it looked more like he just tossed his arm out and hoped something dramatic would happen. The two guys barely even touched each other. It was like two people trying to bump shoulders by accident. Then Wes's other guy, the one with the sunglasses, rushed in and threw one of the softest punches I've ever seen. I mean, he didn't even come close to landing it. He swung way off to the side, completely missing the dude, then followed up with another weak little swing that did absolutely nothing. It looked like he was shadowboxing a ghost, not defending his crew. And even though nothing actually landed, no punches, no real shoves, the whole thing still turned into a wild scene. The bodyguards didn't look tough at all, the energy was awkward, and the situation could have easily been avoided if Wes wasn't acting jealous and ready to explode over nothing. And trust me, I can't even show the footage because platforms get real strict when things get heated, even if nobody connects with anything. This whole restaurant moment was a complete circus, and Wes was right at the center of it again. So let's pick it up right where things left off, with Wes still escalating the whole situation for absolutely no reason, proving once again why he should probably avoid crowded places for a while. The energy was getting wild, cops and extra security started stepping in, and yet somehow the island boy kept walking over toward the same guy like nothing was wrong. It made the whole scene even more confusing. When security finally pulled the island boy back, he started yelling, "That is my homie, I know him." So boom, it becomes clear the dude wasn't an enemy at all. He wasn't heckling anyone, he wasn't trying to start anything, he was literally his friend. But the whole situation still flipped out of control because Wes was in the back going off, yelling wild threats, and acting like something serious was happening. And in the first clip from earlier, you could even hear Wes shouting threats about hurting the guy and talking like he wanted to reenact something from his past fights. All while the island boy was trying to tell everyone that the situation was chill. But nobody in Wes's corner seemed to process what was happening. It was like the entire crew was running on fumes and confusion. For real, the way they handled it made it look like the whole table had the combined IQ of a soda machine. They couldn't figure out that the island boy wasn't in danger at all. He was literally trying to calm them down and tell them, "That's my homie." But Wes kept getting louder, pacing around, acting like he needed to defend something that didn't even need defending. And the craziest part, he kept talking in a way that made him look worse and worse legally. Everybody remembers that earlier situation where he and his crew jumped that tall dude, and Wes was yelling questionable stuff during that too. Now he's out here repeating the same energy again. He doesn't even realize how much he's handing the prosecutor on a silver platter. He's basically giving them everything they need to paint a picture that he's unpredictable, aggressive, and ready to repeat the same behavior again. It's like he's building the case for them without even trying. Whether he was acting out of jealousy, adrenaline, or something weird going on with his bond with the island boy, it was one of the most reckless displays anyone could have put on in public. And the wildest detail? This is happening at the exact same restaurant as before. Like, how many times do you need chaos in the same place before you stop returning there? It's like they're choosing the worst possible spot every time. At this point, West is exposing himself way more than the prosecution ever could. He's giving them more material than they'd be able to gather on their own, and he doesn't even seem aware of it. This whole night was a disaster in slow motion, and he walked straight into all of it. And that's where the live stream came to a sudden stop, because they wiped the whole thing off the internet like it never happened. But what they didn't think about was the fact that I already grabbed the beginning and the middle of the stream, so the chaos is still right here for us to laugh at every single one of these clowns. They tried to erase the evidence, but the internet always finds a way, and this time I'm the one holding the receipts. Watching these grown men act this wild on camera is something you can't just pretend didn't happen. And the fact that they tried to clean it up makes it even funnier. So if you're rocking with this breakdown, hit subscribe and drop a like, because we're keeping the pressure on all these internet grifters every time they slip up. Join the Saints Mafia. We're staying locked in, watching every move they make, and we're not letting any of this go unnoticed. Don't forget, subscribe and comments.
That's your Gap hoodie, is that right? He hit me. See who he's shooting at? Yeah, all right, now run it back again. That clip right there is wild, because one of the dudes talking is one of the same guys tied to Young Dolph's murder, and he's basically admitting everything on camera, and he ain't even done talking.
That's your Gap hoodie, is that right? That's you who you're shooting at? No. Alright, now back it up again.
He starts naming names, hinting at Yo Gotti's role, and even dropping hints that more people are on a list. The streets are heated over this because once someone starts talking like that, it puts a target on their back forever. Let's break into the case that flipped Memphis upside down. Memphis is a city where being real ain't optional, it's survival. But even in a place known for raw energy and real street pressure, nothing hit as hard as what went down in November 2021. That day wasn't just news, it was a straight shockwave.
Deadly.
The whole world never say that when they egging on the beat. When everybody put on the song, everybody egging out, nobody don't be saying it. We feel like...
We're talking about the murder of one of the most respected, self-made, no-nonsense rappers to ever come out of the South, Young Dolph. This wasn't your typical street beef spiraling out of control. Nah, this was something deeper, something calculated, something meant to shake the entire culture. On November 17th, 2021...
Well, since our last interview, Justin Johnson, a.k.a. Straight Drop, got sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Young Dolph. And in fact, I think they gave him another 50 years.
36-year-old Adolph Robert Thornton Jr., known worldwide as Young Dolph, pulled up to Makeda's homemade butter cookies, one of his go-to spots. Broad daylight, regular day, just trying to grab his favorite cookies. No bodyguards, no entourage, just Dolph being Dolph. Then tragedy hit the block. Out of nowhere, a white Mercedes-Benz pulled up like it had a mission. 2 masked men jumped out holding heavy firepower and let off shots.
It's over.
How did you feel when Straight Drop got sentenced to the murder?
I don't feel no type of way. I don't put myself in that like that. I kill myself.
22 shots straight into him. 22 shots? That wasn't just to kill him. That was to send a message. That was the kind of thing you do when you're trying to make sure someone never gets back up. And to make it even wilder, surveillance cameras caught every second of it. The shooters hopped out, fired without hesitation, then peeled off like nothing even happened.
Straight Drop only got $800 for that hit. Can you imagine killing somebody and your reward is a PlayStation and maybe a game or 2?
I don't know if that's true or not.
A whole city left standing there stunned, angry, heartbroken. Dolph wasn't just another rapper aiming for fame. He was a respected boss in Memphis, a man who built Paper Route Empire brick by brick without begging for support or bowing to bigger names.
It's a messed up situation. It's a messed up situation. And the fact that both, people getting killed on both sides, there was other shootings and murders that were happening, man.
He put his people on. He fed families. He motivated a whole generation. That's why the news hit the streets like a punch to the chest. Memphis police snapped into action fast because something this bold couldn't be ignored. And within months, authorities started connecting the dots, rounding up 4 suspects they believed were tied to the hit. Justin Straight Drop Jansen, allegedly one of the shooters, Cornelius Smith, the other suspected shooter.
But when it's egging on, it's all fun and games. When everybody promoting the beef against other rappers, they love it. That's the song you'll go listen to before you listen to his whole album.
Hernandez Govin, believed to be the mastermind who put the whole plan together, and Jamarcus Johnson, Straight Drop's half-brother, accused of helping them escape and secure money tied to the hit. These arrests showed progress, but anyone with street knowledge understood immediately. 4 dudes don't run a hit this big alone. Something this heavy usually comes from higher up, from deeper connections, from older beefs that never died down.
Shit, them people slanging iron, like people hurt for that shit. So, I hate that rap beef. I hate it, bro. I hate it. I ain't never seen nothing good come from it. Never.
And now with these new leaked recordings floating around, the internet is going crazy again because it sounds like the truth is finally bubbling to the surface. Somebody is clearly talking way too much, dropping hints the whole plan was bigger than anyone first thought. Somebody clearly wanted Young Dolph gone, and the real question hanging in the air was, who gave these dudes the confidence to pull off something this serious? To understand why Dolph ended up getting hit like that, you gotta rewind and look at one of the ugliest Memphis rap beefs ever. A feud so heavy, it had the whole city on edge. The long-running war between Young Dolph and another Memphis powerhouse, Yo Gotti. This wasn't no harmless back and forth online. This was deep-rooted tension that stretched for years, pulling in crews, labels, street loyalty.
You know how many people miss Dolph and miss Big Joe? It fed a lot of people, but we just, we as on the outside looking in, we just think about that a couple of days and whatever else on social media after that, but they families, they children, they brothers and they cousins, and people hurt for that.
And multiple violent situations that left real scars on Memphis. This was the kind of beef that had real-life consequences where people on both sides were ready to take action if anything got out of line. Every time their names got mentioned together, you could feel the room tighten up instantly.
But some records sold that the black man ain't gonna get the money for.
Everything traces back to around 2014 when Young Dolph was leveling up, gaining respect through his independent grind. Meanwhile, Yo Gotti, real name Mario Mims, was already stamped in Memphis with his label, CMG. Word on the streets was that Gotti tried to sign Dolph. On the surface, it looked like a smart play, an established veteran trying to bring in a rising star. But Dolph wasn't rocking with it. He had his own vision, his own empire, Paper Route Empire, and he was focused on building something that belonged to him. He didn't want to be under anybody else's control, taking orders, or shifting his moves for someone else's benefit. Dolph always operated like a boss, and being independent was part of his identity. But that decision didn't sit well with everyone. Dolph claimed that after he turned down the deal, Gotti's whole attitude flipped. According to Dolph, dude went from being my #1 fan and wanting to sign me to being my biggest hater. That tweet said it all. Dolph felt like the love wasn't real and that the second he didn't play along, the energy shifted. And when someone's loyalty suddenly changes in the streets, especially over business pride and ego, it can turn into something way darker real fast.
From that point on, the tension between them didn't just stay in the music. It spilled into the city. Their crews started feeling the pressure. Situations around them got heated, and every move either artist made was watched closely because the streets knew it could go left at any moment. This wasn't petty competition. This was personal. And once feelings get bruised, opportunities get rejected, and respect starts slipping, things can reach a point where talking it out is no longer an option. The beef didn't stay quiet at all. Things heated up fast. Both rappers started sneaking shots into their music, and before anybody knew it, the whole situation got personal. In 2016, Young Dolph dropped his album King of Memphis, which was basically him stepping straight into Yo Gotti's territory and saying, "I'm the one running this." That was bold, and the city knew it. But the real explosion came in 2017 when Dolph dropped Play With Yo Bitch, a track that went straight for Yo Gotti's pride and reputation. Dolph wasn't sugarcoating anything. He was claiming he had relations with the mother of Gotti's child, putting a Gotti lookalike in the music video getting clowned, and the cover art even showed missed calls from Yo Gotti baby Moma. That level of disrespect in street culture isn't something people just shrug off. This was the kind of violation that pushes someone from throwing bars to wanting real retaliation. And when you're dealing with people connected to the streets, surrounded by dudes who take loyalty seriously and don't hesitate around violence, a diss like that can spark something deadly. And that's exactly what happened. Memphis isn't the type of city where public disrespect gets ignored. Reputation is everything, and when you embarrass someone publicly, especially someone with influence and people around him who move aggressively, things can spill out the booth and into the streets. And once that happens, it's only a matter of time before someone decides to handle it the street way. The first major incident went down February 2017 during CIAA tournament weekend in Charlotte, North Carolina. On February 25th, Young Dolph's bulletproof SUV got hit with over 100 shots. Yes, 100 shots fired at his truck in what was clearly a coordinated attempt to take him out for real. Whoever did it wasn't trying to scare him, they were trying to erase him. But Dolph survived, only because he was smart enough to get that ride bulletproof it. It was like the universe gave him a second chance, but the streets weren't calming down. Just 7 months later, in September 2017, Dolph was shot multiple times outside the Loews Hollywood Hotel in Los Angeles. This wasn't some minor situation. Dolph was in critical condition, fighting to stay alive. Early reports mentioned Yo Gotti as a person of interest since he was staying at the same hotel, but LAPD quickly said he wasn't a suspect. One of Gotti's associates, Corey McClendon, got arrested for attempted murder, but once again, he beat the case. It was like every time violence hit Dolph, nobody ever seemed to get convicted. But the tension stayed boiling. Then came the third time, and this time it wasn't an attempt. Memphis took a loss nobody expected. Fast forward to the courtroom, where the trial, the accusations, and the bombshell testimony started shaking the city. When Justin Straight Drop's trial finally began in September 2024, almost 3 years after Dolph was killed, everyone in Memphis, from the hood to the industry, was watching. This wasn't just another case. This had the potential to expose people with power and status. Johnson was facing first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and felon in possession of a firearm, charges that could lock someone away for the rest of their life with no chance of seeing freedom again. The prosecution, led by Shelby County Assistant District Attorney Paul Hagerman, came loaded with receipts. They showed the surveillance footage of 2 masked shooters hopping out of that white Mercedes and letting off shots while Dolph was inside Makeda's Cookies. They had phone records placing Johnson and his co-defendants right near the scene when the hit went down. They had the ballistics lined up, matching the weapons straight to the suspects. But the part that really crushed Johnson's chances, the part that locked the whole situation tight, was the testimony from his own co-defendant Cornelius Smith, who flipped on the stand to save himself and maybe shave some years off his future. When Smith opened his mouth, everything changed. His testimony wasn't light. It was explosive. He didn't just admit his role in the shooting, he started naming names and hinting that this hit reached way higher than just two dudes from the streets. According to Smith's sworn testimony, Young Dolph's murder wasn't some random beef or some spur-of-the-moment street conflict. Nah, Smith claimed the hit was ordered by Anthony, aka Big Juke Mims, which just so happens to be Yo Gotti's older brother and one of the strongest figures connected to CMG. That allegation shook the courtroom and the whole city, because that meant that this wasn't just emotional street drama. This could have been a strategic, organized move. That piece right there showed how serious this case got. Smith testified that Big Juke allegedly put up a $100,000 bounty on Dolph, a full 100 bands to take out one of the biggest names in Memphis rap. Smith claimed the money was supposed to be split, $40K for him, $40K for Johnson, $20K for Hernandez Govin, the man accused of piecing the whole plan together. Smith even claimed that he and Straight Drop had multiple meetings with Big Juke in the weeks leading up to the hit. According to him, these weren't casual conversations. These were planning sessions, plotting how everything would go down. And after Dolph was killed, Smith said they hopped on FaceTime with Big Juke to confirm the job was done. That detail alone had the courtroom buzzing, because if it's true, it puts a whole new spotlight on who might have been tied to this from the start. But Smith wasn't done. He dropped another bomb. He claimed that someone connected to CMG paid $50,000 toward his legal fees after he got locked up in January 2022. He said he didn't know exactly who sent the money, but he insisted it came from someone tied to CMG. That created a whole different wave of questions, because why would anyone pay that kind of money unless they were trying to protect someone or keep someone loyal? If what Smith said is true, it hints at something way bigger than just a single order from one person. It suggests organizational involvement, people working behind the scenes, and possibly even attempts to interfere with the case. That could mean more charges, deeper investigations, and a much bigger spotlight on people who thought they were in the clear. The allegations Smith dropped didn't just point fingers. They opened the door for a whole new level of suspicion, and Memphis hasn't stopped talking about it since. Justin Johnson's lawyer, Luke Evans, came in ready for war. He went straight after Cornelius Smith's credibility, trying to break down everything Smith said on the stand. Evans argued that Smith was only talking because he wanted a lighter sentence, and that he'd say whatever the prosecution wanted to hear if it meant saving himself. Evans brought up a letter Smith supposedly wrote to his family from jail, where he hinted he'd say anything to avoid spending his life behind bars. If that letter is real, it makes Smith look like someone who'd switch up his story just to cut a deal, and it raises real questions about whether the jury should have trusted a single word he said. Evans also pointed out the inconsistencies in his story, especially the money part. Smith claimed he was promised $40,000 for helping with the hit, but admitted he only actually got $800 total, $500 at first, then $300 later. That's wild, because it makes his whole testimony sound shaky, like he didn't know what was real and what wasn't. But even with all those issues, the jury still locked on to the prosecution's version of events, and on September 26, 2024, Justin Johnson was found guilty on all counts. First-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, felon in possession of a weapon. The jury looked at everything: the surveillance video, the phone data, and yeah, Smith's testimony, even with the doubts attached to it. Johnson got sentenced to life in prison, which in Memphis means he must serve at least 51 years before he even gets considered for release. Johnson is around 30 years old, so that means if he somehow stays alive for the whole sentence, he'd be in his 80s before he even gets a chance to breathe free air again. That basically seals his fate. But here's where things get even more serious. Johnson's conviction did give Young Dolph's family and fans a bit of justice, but it also opened doors to way bigger questions about who else could have been involved. If Smith's testimony about Big Juke is true, and the jury clearly thought it had enough weight to convict Johnson, then it makes everyone wonder, who else knew? Who else played a role? And the biggest question, did Yo Gotti know anything about what was allegedly happening behind the scenes? So far, there's no public evidence tying Yo Gotti directly to the hit. Everything points to Big Juke, not Gotti himself. But here's the part that keeps the streets buzzing. Big Juke wasn't some distant relative. He was Gotti's blood brother and heavily involved in CMG business moves. He wasn't a small figure. He was someone who had power and connections. And then things got even stranger. Big Juke was shot and killed in Memphis in January 2024, just months before these courtroom allegations about his involvement in Dolph's murder came out. He was shot outside a restaurant during a repast after a funeral. Up to this day, nobody has been arrested for it. People in Memphis started whispering, instantly. Some say it was retaliation for young Dolph's death, maybe carried out by people connected to Paper Route Empire, but there's no proof of that. Just street talk, speculation, and theories moving around the city. There's no solid proof behind the street rumors, but the timing of Big Juke's death is wild because it means he never got the chance to respond to anything Cornelius Smith said in court. He never got to deny putting up a $100,000 bounty on Dolph, never got to confirm or deny his own meetings with the shooters, and never got to speak on who else might have been involved or completely innocent. His death basically erased what could have been one of the most important voices in understanding the full truth behind Dolph's murder. It shut down a key witness forever. Another huge piece of this puzzle is Hernandez Govan, the man prosecutors painted as the mastermind behind the whole hit. Govan pled not guilty, and in August 2025, he was found not guilty at trial. There were rumors he had strong ties to both Yo Gotti and Big Juke, with old posts and pictures showing he was tapped in with the CMG circle. But just like with Gotti, there's no public evidence directly connecting Govan to Yo Gotti in the murder plot. All the allegations revolve around his connection to Big Juke, not Gotti himself. Word is, Govan even turned down a plea deal, choosing to stand on his innocence and take it to trial. That alone added even more mystery, because if he truly was involved, most dudes in that position would have cut a deal instantly to save themselves. But he didn't. Then there's the fourth defendant, Jamarcus Johnson, Justin Johnson's half-brother, who took a plea deal in June 2023. He admitted to being an accessory, helping the shooters escape and helping move the money afterwards. In his testimony, he pointed to text messages where Smith was asking about Big Juke, which lined up with some of Smith's claims about Juke's role. But just like Smith, Jamarcus is cooperating to get a lighter sentence. So you gotta look at his testimony carefully, knowing he has a reason to say exactly what prosecutors want to hear. Police didn't stop there either. Investigators even examined possible ties between Dolph's murder and others in Yo Gotti's circle, especially Black Youngsta, who was tied into that 2017 Charlotte shooting where Dolph's SUV got hit with 100 rounds. In early 2022, right after Straight Drop and Smith were arrested, word came out that they hired Arthur Horn, a lawyer who had previously represented both Yo Gotti and Black Youngsta. That connection instantly sparked rumors that CMG might still be involved behind the scenes, but Horn later dropped the case and publicly denied he was hired on behalf of CMG. Still, that connection, even for a moment, added another strange layer to a situation that already had too many moving parts. And now we're left with the biggest question hovering over everything. If Big Juke really did order the hit on young Dolph, was he acting alone? Or was Yo Gotti aware of anything at all? That's the part nobody can answer. Not the police, not prosecutors, not the courts, not even the people involved. Because the one person who could have provided clarity, Big Juke, is gone. His death means he never sat down with detectives, never testified, never gave statements, never admitted anything, and never cleared anyone. With no recorded statements and no direct evidence tying Yo Gotti to the murder plot, we may never know the full truth about who actually ordered young Dolph's assassination. And the questions keep piling up. one of the biggest mysteries still floating around is Smith's claim that someone connected to CMG dropped $50,000 on his legal fees. If that's true, and Smith said it under oath, then that hints at something way bigger than one person acting alone. It would suggest organized involvement, people working behind the scenes, and possibly attempts to shield certain individuals. But without concrete proof, public paperwork, or more witnesses, the truth sits in the shadows, and Memphis is still stuck with rumors, theories, and unanswered questions. That idea goes way deeper than Big Juke moving on his own. If someone connected to CMG really dropped big money to help cover the legal fees of a man accused of killing young Dolph, that wouldn't just be loyalty. That would suggest either direct involvement in the setup or at the very least an organized effort to keep the shooters quiet and stop anyone from cooperating with the authorities. But the details around that alleged payment are frustratingly blurry. Nobody knows who supposedly sent it, how it was sent, or even why it was sent. And you gotta remember, Memphis has a tight street culture. People look out for each other in ways outsiders don't always understand. Sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's loyalty, sometimes it's both. Then there's another part of this story that's even wilder. The huge difference between the $100,000 bounty Smith says Big Juke put on Dolph's head and the tiny $800 Smith claims he actually received. That's not a small difference. That's a massive gap. That's less than 1% of what was supposedly promised. Smith straight up said he only got $800, which is basically the price of a PlayStation and maybe a game on top. Imagine taking part in something serious and walking away with barely enough to buy sneakers and a hoodie. If you're a street dude being promised 40 racks to put in work and you actually go through with it, but only receive $800, you'd be furious. You'd feel played, and you definitely wouldn't feel motivated to protect the people who shorted you. You'd be ready to expose everything, or at least refuse to stay loyal. Yet, somehow, Smith still cooperated with the authorities and testified against Justin Johnson, while also saying he got cheated on the money. That alone raises an important question. Why would the people who allegedly ordered the hit, people who supposedly had access to $100,000 and enough cash to drop $50,000 on legal fees, short their shooters this badly? There are a few possible explanations. 1. The $100,000 bounty might have been exaggerated. Maybe the number never was real, and someone inflated it after the fact. Street rumors travel fast and grow even faster. 2. The money might have been real, but the full payment never came. Big Juke got killed 2 years after Dolph's murder, and if he truly was the one controlling the payout, his death might have stopped everything. 3. They might have avoided paying the full amount to prevent leaving a money trail. Dropping $100,000 in cash is one thing, but actually moving that money around leaves clues. And nobody running a big operation wants the feds tracing anything back to them. No matter which explanation you look at, the fact Smith only got $800 for such a high-profile hit seriously weakens the idea that this was some massive, perfectly executed, industry-funded operation. If CMG, or anyone with serious power, really put up 6 figures for the hit and another big bag for legal fees, why would the shooters walk away with pocket change? Something about that story doesn't line up clean, and that's why people in Memphis still can't agree on what actually happened behind the scenes. You'd expect a hit that supposedly involved 6-figure money and big-name ties to be handled way more professionally. You'd expect the shooters to actually get what they were promised. But the way this whole thing went down, sloppy planning, tiny payouts, poor communication, makes the whole situation look way more amateur than organized, which raises a real question. Was Big Juke and CMG's involvement really as deep as Smith made it sound, or was he exaggerating to save himself? It's a straight messy situation, a messed up, tangled, confusing situation where bodies were dropping on both sides and other shootings were happening around the city. Then came the January 2024 murder of Big Juke, which added another dark twist to everything. Big Juke was shot outside a Memphis restaurant during a repast, a gathering after a funeral, with his own mom reportedly present when he got taken out. Another person was hit too, and even with police offering a $4,000 reward, nobody's been arrested. A lot of people in Memphis believed this was street justice, maybe connected to Dolph's camp or people who loved him. Nothing is confirmed, but the timing alone had the whole city talking. Big Juke's death changed the entire investigation because if he really did order the hit on Dolph, then he had key knowledge about everything. He would have known who else was aware of the plan. Did he talk to Yo Gotti about it? Did he act alone? Did he have other people in CMG backing him, or was he running off of his own emotions and loyalty trying to protect his brother's reputation? We'll never hear those answers from him because he's gone. Whatever truth he held died with him. And that silence might have been the biggest loss in figuring out the entire conspiracy. His death basically erased the one person who could have tied all the pieces together, the one person who could have said who should be held responsible for Dolph's death. And that leads to the bigger picture, one that goes far beyond Memphis. Hip-hop has always had beef. Competition is part of the culture. Rap battles, lyrical shots, claiming the crown, rivalries have given us some of the most legendary moments ever. But when artists are tied into real street life, real gang history, real criminal activity, that beef can cross the line and turn deadly real fast. The line between entertainment and actual violence gets blurred, and what starts as music can suddenly turn into a murder scene. Dolph's murder didn't just take an artist, it took a father away from his kids. It broke up families on both sides. Big Juke's murder made his family suffer too. The shooters and organizers, they're doing time that'll keep them locked down until they're old men, if they even survive that long. For what? For pride? For respect? For a spot in Memphis's rap scene? For loyalty to a label or a neighborhood? The price paid is massive, and whatever benefit someone thought they were protecting is tiny in comparison. And here's the hardest truth. We might never know exactly who is responsible for Dolph's murder. We may never know who gave the final order, who funded what, who approved what, who knew what was happening behind the scenes. The deaths, the lies, the missing pieces, they all created a fog no one has been able to clear. But here's what we know for sure. Dolph's murder was a tragic loss of life, a loss of talent, a loss of hope for the people he inspired. He was more than a rapper, he was a boss, a businessman, a community figure, a man who built everything himself without selling out. His death hurt Memphis. It hurt hip-hop. It hurt his kids most of all.
Hello, Dallas was already tense, but when MO3 got taken out on I-35 in broad daylight, the whole city froze like time stopped. Nobody expected the story to twist years later when prosecutors claimed Yella Beezy pulled out $100,000 in cash right after the situation, with bank cameras catching everything. That detail made people look at the case all over again. This beef didn't pop up out the blue. Two Dallas artists were rising from different sides.
That state's witness will also testify that Marquise Conway was one of the individuals responsible for a portion of that payment.
Carrying their blocks and dealing with pressure that can flip something small into something explosive. What happened on that freeway felt like the breaking point of years of quiet tension, ready to snap. It was a normal November afternoon. Heavy traffic, people handling business, until everything switched in seconds. Sirens, panic, and a moment that turned into national news right in front of everybody. That's when the rivalry crossed a line nobody could walk back from. One artist didn't make it home, and years later, the other was facing accusations tied to a murder-for-hire setup.
I mean, you came out with this track, you designed the records, and what's the latest one that's out right now that's going crazy?
That's on me.
That's on me going crazy, what, like 500,000, what, like a month?
Nah, shit, right now it says 7.
The type of charge that could change a whole future. To understand how it got this wild, you got to go back to where the story really started. These situations usually begin with something small, something that gets twisted until it grows out of control.
And Dallas knows how fast street talk can turn a simple misunderstanding into a real problem. Yella Beezy, Marquise DeAndre Conway, came up in Oak Cliff.
Danger.
When Yella Beezy got shot up, what were your thoughts about that?
I gotta stay out the way.
Okay.
Out here, shit. You get hit up every day.
A tough area that forces people to grow up fast. Losing his father inside their home changed his whole world, pushing him into music as a way to keep his mind steady. Music became his outlet, his escape, his way to stay balanced when life stayed heavy. Roy Lee was tight with MO3, so the moment he started firing off jokes at Yella Beezy, folks automatically pulled MO3 into the mess, even if he never planned to jump in. Dallas took it as guilt by association, and the tension stacked up like bricks. Things got even hotter after Roy Lee reportedly ran into Yella's crew at a club and ended up getting jumped. But instead of falling back, he kept dropping jokes that had the whole city watching. Then, everything flipped into tragedy. Late 2018, going into 2019, Roy Lee got hit in the leg during a shooting in North Dallas, and complications from blood clots later took his life, leaving the whole city hurting.
Between them.
Well, after we did the interview with you, I interviewed Mo3.
Who?
Mo3.
I don't know who that is.
Well, I asked about the shooting, and he said there's no beef, but, he said you just gotta stay out the way, it's real out here.
Meanwhile,
Whispers started right away, pointing fingers at Yella or people around him, even though nothing was proven at all. Just hearing those claims changed the air around the city, and MO3 felt that pressure heavy because Roy Lee meant something to him. There were deeper layers too. Yella Beezy's connection with the Rollin' 60s added a whole new weight to the situation, because once organized loyalty gets tied in, everything moves different. When street politics and rap energy mix together, what starts as personal tension can turn into something way bigger than two artists trading words. Events kept pushing things further. In October 2018, Yella Beezy survived a shooting on the North Dallas Tollway, an attack that left him fighting for his life in the hospital. When MO3 spoke on the violence happening around the city, including this situation, his reaction was cold and matter-of-fact. When asked, when Yella Beezy got shot up, what were your thoughts about that? He simply said, that's the way it goes out here. Folks get hit up every day out here. That answer had people reading between the lines instantly.
That didn't exist.
Do you see somebody running down the street?
I do now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so you're saying that all of that is just nonsense?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Internet be reaching.
But beneath these...
Street talk started connecting dots, saying the attack on Yella could have been connected to Roy Lee's passing, even though both rappers denied having anything to do with it. Dallas didn't need facts to keep the beef alive. The rumors were enough to make the tension grow louder. Then, February 2020 brought another spark at a Dallas club. Reports say Yella Beezy got into it with Brandon Rainwater, MO3's manager, and it turned into a one-sided fight. Rainwater walked away with a dislocated hip and later filed a lawsuit. That incident made it clear the problem wasn't going anywhere. Both artists would go online acting like everything was calm, but they kept slipping in slick comments and subtle shots that kept the whole city on edge. In one interview, the real energy came out when Yella Beezy got asked about MO3. The interviewer said, well, after we did the interview with you, I interviewed Mo3, and Yella cut him off fast with, who? Mo3. I don't know who that is. The interviewer pushed again, telling him MO3 said there was no beef, but Yella brushed it off like it meant nothing. MO3 wasn't rolling over either. He told interviewers the blogs were twisting everything to stir up drama. He said, yeah, nah, they was misinformed about some rap beef. I was like, nah, I ain't got no rap beef with nobody. I ain't got no rap beef in my city, no rap beef at all. But people could hear the tension under the words. When an interviewer pushed even harder and mentioned supposed surveillance footage of folks running, MO3 shut it down quick. They asked about someone running down the street, and he answered, do you see somebody running down the street? When told yes, he fired back, oh, I do not. He finished it off with, yeah, that's why I'm saying the internet be reaching.
Crowded highway, seemingly not fully grasping the deadly danger he was in.
Now, here's the thing. I gotta believe if Mo3 is in this vehicle,
I gotta believe that Mo3, it doesn't really feel like he's that much in danger or that this person is trying to kill him. You get what I'm saying? And the reason why I gotta believe that is that the dude passes him. Mo3 could have slowed down. Let's say the guy's going 60. You just beat the 30.
The way he said it made people wonder what he really meant. But behind all these interviews and denials, something much darker was moving quietly. Something planned, something deadly, something that would explode on a Dallas freeway in a way nobody could ever forget. Dashcam clips from different cars and highway cameras caught wild angles of the whole chase, showing Mo3's gold sedan torn up with bullet holes, glass everywhere, and the shooter's dark whip abandoned like someone dipped out with zero fear on a packed freeway with people watching everything unfold in real time. Investigators grabbed every frame, synced up every angle, and built a timeline that broke the whole event down to seconds. Every move on that freeway, every shot, every lane switch, every pause got locked into the official picture that pushed the case forward after years of dead ends.
On the gas and kept pushing forward.
I'm not having a standoff in the middle of the highway. I'm keep driving. I'm flooring it, right? I'm keep flooring this bitch, okay? But Mo3 actually stops, but it appears Mo3 must have been under the assumption, oh, this pussy nigga is playing with me. Maybe recognize the guy or recognize the car. And he's like, let me go get my chopper.
The hit happening in broad daylight on a busy highway told investigators this wasn't random at all. It was bold, cold, and planned by someone who didn't care about cameras or witnesses. Whoever set this up wasn't hiding from nothing. They were focused only on finishing the job. Detectives eventually traced the triggerman to Kewan Dontrell White, a 22-year-old already on parole when everything went down. Once Dallas PD dropped the surveillance screenshots, folks in the streets started whispering, saying the dude in the pictures looked exactly like him. Those whispers turned into official tips, and cops moved in fast. White already had gun charges on his jacket, so when police scooped him in December 2020, nobody was shocked.
Plot.
That state's witness will also testify that Marcus Conway was one of the individuals responsible for a portion of that payment. The state's witness will also testify to the individual who received this payment. The state's witness will testify that Kewan White was, in fact, the individual who received this payment, who was originally indicted in State's Exhibit number 1.
Forensics tied him to the car and the weapon used in the hit, and prosecutors painted him as the one hired to handle the dirty work for whoever wanted Mo3 gone. He first faced murder charges, but later took a plea on gun charges, agreeing to 9 years while talking to prosecutors. His testimony flipped the entire case, especially when he pointed at someone way bigger. Another name floating around was Devin Brown. He was indicted right along with White and Yellow Beezy back in 2020. His exact role stayed cloudy. Some thought he was the middleman, some thought he was just caught in the crossfire, but his name stayed on the paperwork, which kept the spotlight on him. But the biggest shock hit when investigators shifted toward the man they believed was behind everything, Yellow Beezy, Marquise DeAndre Conway. Prosecutors said he was the one who set this whole thing up, calling it a murder for hire, tied to the long-running tension between him and Mo3.
The state has also had an opportunity to review bank records of the defendant, Marquise Conway. These records will show that the defendant drew $40,000 in the days following the murder of Melvin Noble. And for the record, that was a cash withdrawal. These records would correspond to the exact amount which the state's witness would testify to.
At the heart of
the investigation took years because detectives needed time to dig through ballistics, witness statements, missing pieces, and hesitation from people in the community who didn't want to talk. The case even froze for a while until White started cooperating, and informants whispered about a bag supposedly placed on Mo3 as retaliation. Those whispers matched real evidence,
And suddenly, everything heated up again. From 2020 to 2025, the investigation dragged through delays, missing records, people backing out, fading memories, and the struggle to prove a setup without a paper trail. Prosecutors stacked what they could slowly: surveillance timelines, phone hits, witness statements, ballistics, piece by piece. Those freeway clips became the backbone of the case, but the most explosive detail came from financial records. Prosecutors said Yella Beezy pulled out $40,000 in cash right after the murder, and they believed the timing wasn't a coincidence. Defense claimed it was a normal withdrawal, but prosecutors said the timing screamed suspicion. Phone records added another layer. Data allegedly showed calls and tower hits linking Yella Beezy and White before and after the hit. None of it was a perfect smoking gun, but stacked together, it painted a picture that prosecutors wanted the jury to see clearly. By March 2025, a Dallas County grand jury hit Yella Beezy with capital murder for hire. Devin Brown got hit with conspiracy charges, making the case even heavier. The trials got pushed back again and again. First, April 2025, then all the way to these new dates. Devin Brown's trial, November 2025. Yella Beezy's trial, February 2nd, 2026. And the courtroom battles were just getting started. When Beezy first got booked, the judge set bond at a massive $2 million. Prosecutors argued he had big money and might try to run. But everything changed on March 27, 2025, when the defense said he had strong community ties and no violent record. The judge shocked everybody by dropping bond down to $750,000. During that same hearing, prosecutors came with heavy heat, dropping some of their wildest reveals yet. Key details they planned to put in front of the jury, including the identity of the witness they said could tie every loose end together. A state attorney stood up calm but cold, saying with full confidence, "A state's witness will testify that Marquise Conway was one of the individuals responsible for a portion of that payment. A state's witness will testify that Kewan White was the individual who received this payment." That line shook the courtroom like a thunderclap because it pointed straight at the money trail, the heart of the whole case. Prosecutors told the judge they had gone deep into Conway's bank records, and what they found wasn't small. It was the type of detail that could flip a whole trial. The attorney said these records would show that the defendant drew $40,000 in the days following the murder of Melvin Noble, and for the record, that was a cash withdrawal. They claimed that amount lined up exactly with what their key witness said White got paid. It wasn't rumor, it was paperwork, timestamps, and bank logs that could land heavy in front of a jury. And the state wasn't throwing guesses. They said witness testimony matched the cash withdrawal perfectly, turning it into the centerpiece of their entire pitch that this was a planned murder for hire. Their whole strategy rested on 4 pillars they laid out with confidence. 1. Financial evidence, the $40,000 cash pull they called straight-up payment. 2. Witness testimony, someone ready to testify who paid who and why. 3. Phone and location data, signals and calls tying Conway and White close to the timeline. 4. Street history, years of tension feeding motive. Piece by piece, prosecutors worked to create a clean picture of planning, payment, and intent, enough to try convincing a jury this wasn't random at all. And with trial dates locked in, this case was shaping up to be one of the biggest Dallas had ever seen. But Conway's defense swung back hard. They said wealthy artists pulling big cash wasn't suspicious at all. They argued prosecutors were twisting a normal transaction into a crime so they could make their story sound stronger. They also pointed out the move was caught on regular bank cameras, making it easy for investigators to confirm the date, time, and amount, even though defense said none of it meant anything illegal. Witness testimony brought more impact, especially from White, who took a plea deal and claimed he knew about conversations, payments, and the bounty. Prosecutors backed him with digital records too, phone logs showing calls between Conway and White within 24 hours of the murder. and cell tower hits, putting their phones near each other. They said it proved coordination. But Conway's defense ripped into White's credibility, saying he had every reason to say whatever helped him get less time. They told the court the state was relying on someone with a criminal past and an incentive to flip, not on hard evidence like messages or recordings. Industry voice Whack 100 even broke it down publicly, saying the story didn't add up. When asked about Beezy pulling out $40K, he said, "Yeah, he pulled out $40K. And I'm thinking, like, that's not really that uncommon for someone like Beezy." He even added, "I pulled out $70K once just to buy a watch. It happens. When you got money in your account, it's normal." Then came the line that had the internet buzzing. "But guess what? You could have provided a receipt for the watch, right?" It hit the perfect point. Cash isn't suspicious unless you can't show where it went. After all the courtroom back and forth, Conway posted his $750,000 bond and walked out under strict house arrest rules. He got hit with full GPS monitoring, strict limits on leaving home, and clear orders to avoid every witness, co-defendant, and anybody tied to the case. Then, early November 2025, the court gave him a tiny break, 5 hours a week to hit the studio under monitored conditions. His team argued music was his whole career, and shutting it down would crush his income, so the judge agreed to the limited access. Don't forget subscribe and comments. Thanks.
Hello. That line from 50 Cent hit different, because not long after that, Young Buck's whole world started crashing right in front of everyone's eyes. Bankruptcy filings, IRS on his neck, and even jail time over probation violations. His career didn't just fall apart, it crumbled piece by piece like something nobody saw coming. And the real reasons behind it all? Way darker than most fans ever imagined. From the streets to stardom, Buck's story wasn't some easy ride. It was rough from the jump, and every twist in his life set the tone for what came later. Growing up in Nashville, Tennessee,
ended up coming on with them and hopefully having his situation figured out as well. But as years went on, Buck said he spent 3 to 4 years with Cash Money and none of his music ever got released. He got essentially put on the back burner while the other artists on Cash Money like Lil Wayne, Juvenile, BG, so on and so forth ended up blowing up.
Young David Brown wasn't living comfortable by any stretch. He bounced around non-stop, from Seafright in North Nashville to the J.C. Napier projects, then to the South 7th projects, moving so much that by the time he was 8, he already knew the whole city like a grown man navigating both sides of the tracks. This wasn't some clean childhood either. He saw real street life, real chaos, real situations that shaped him and later poured straight into his music. To bring in some cash and help at the crib, Buck hustled in every legit way he could, pumping gas for tips, cutting grass, washing cars, doing whatever brought a couple dollars into his pocket. Music became his escape, his focus, his mission.
But what did happen was Buck and Lil Jimmy ended up meeting everybody at Cash Money Records, and the first thing that Birdman told Buck was to spit a freestyle for him, and he put him up against Lil Wayne at that time, and they went back and forth, and that ended up impressing Birdman.
He started freestyling with his day ones, battling anyone bold enough to step up, slowly building that Nashville underground heat. Then things took a wild turn. One of those early moments that show Buck's hunger and risk-it-all mindset. Buck and his homie found a BG Chopper City CD, and on the back was a phone number for Cash Money Records. These two young cats didn't overthink anything. They picked up the phone and actually called the number with a wild idea. They told Cash Money they wanted to book them for a show in Nashville for $5 grand. No blueprint, no real knowledge, just pure ambition. And somehow, it actually went through. They booked that whole thing like they had a full team behind them.
And out of my ordeal back in the streets, I ended up getting shot in a home invasion and a robbery. One in the arm and one in the upper thigh area. It was enough for me to wake up and really realize that, yo, if this shit keep going on like this, I'm either to get killed or I'm go to jail. And I really realized that because I was getting down for real. Really started to devote more of my time to the music then, the studio, period.
The show never ended up happening, but something way bigger did, something that changed Buck's whole direction forever. Birdman was so impressed by Buck's confidence and boldness that he brought him down to New Orleans immediately to talk about signing with Cash Money. At just 14, Buck made one of the biggest decisions of his life. He dropped out of school completely to chase music full-time. Nobody here is debating what a young person should or shouldn't do, but this move showed just how serious and focused he was. This wasn't a side hobby. This wasn't some dream he'd maybe try. Music was everything to him. His ticket out, his shot at a real future, his only plan. The only real proof Buck has from his entire Cash Money era is a quick appearance in the Big Timers' Big Ballin' music video. But behind the scenes, things weren't sweet. By 1999, he was tired of being stuck on the sidelines while everyone else was blowing up. He was watching careers move, and he was still waiting. So he made another tough decision. He walked away from Cash Money and headed back home to Nashville to build things on his own terms. But those years weren't a waste at all. He learned how the music business actually works. He gained real game, and he made key connections. DJ Paul from 3 6 Mafia, Juvenile, and others who would play major roles later.
Juvie happened to pull up at the office, and when he pulled up, he was kind of shocked to see me there. I'm like, I've been here for a whole week. And he was like, man, you want to get up out of here for a minute? You know what I'm saying? And I took that ride with Juvie, and that's where my career started, with Juvenile.
Back in Nashville, he linked up with his squad and started grinding independently. No label, no machine, just hustle and determination. On August 22, 2000, Buck dropped Thug Until the End with his homie D-Tay, and something unbelievable happened. The project charted. An independent Nashville rapper hit number 34 on the R&B charts and number 17 on the independent charts. For someone pushing CDs out the trunk with no corporate backing, this was massive. Buck moved around 10,000 units on pure grind. And while that may not sound like major label numbers, for an independent artist, it proved something huge. There was a real audience for what he was creating. This moment showed him that his music could actually work, that people were listening, that he wasn't crazy for believing he had a shot. And then something happened that shook him awake, a moment that forced him to choose his path once and for all. After recovering from being hit during that home invasion, Buck made a promise to himself.
A week after the deal fizzled out with UTP, 50 Cent ended up calling Young Buck and said, hey, we want that Bloodhound track. We'll pay you $20,000 for it. Let us put it on the album. And the track is getting mixed by Eminem and Dr. Dre.
That he wasn't slipping back into the streets ever again. He wanted something real, something built off talent, not danger. So he locked in fully on his music grind with a level of focus he never had before. And right when he needed a break the most, one came out of nowhere through his old Cash Money connection. DJ Paul from 3 6 Mafia, who had always respected Buck's pen and delivery, heard about the shooting and reached out immediately. Project Pat pulled up, scooped Buck from Nashville, and brought him straight to Memphis to get into the studio and record something serious. Those sessions changed everything. Out of them came Buck's first major album placement, Memphis, on 3 6 Mafia's project When the Smoke Clears 6661. That was the kind of exposure that could flip a whole career overnight. This was Buck's first real moment in front of the industry, his first taste of being on something big, something official. But even with that huge opportunity, he didn't sign with 3 6 Mafia. Instead, he went right back to Nashville, grinding independently, but now with way more eyes on him.
Shot Money had became a best friend of mine. I'm the best man on this man's wedding. That's how me and close Shot was. Me and Shot were probably closer than me and 50. Him and 50 was, you know, so I'm the best man of his man's wedding. I'm judging Shot not from a business standpoint of his problems with 50, but looking at him as my brother.
More connections, more recognition, and a louder buzz than ever before. He wasn't invisible anymore. But let's slow it down. because the way Buck actually ended up in G Unit, that story is absolutely wild. When things were heating up, Birdman, his old Cash Money link, reached out again with a new proposition. Cash Money wasn't the same as the late 1990s version Buck remembered. Everything had leveled up. Luxury cars, big buildings, huge budgets. The whole operation looked like a different planet compared to what he saw as a teen. Birdman wanted Buck for a new group he was putting together called Head Buses. He flew Buck out to New Orleans once again, but the situation started feeling way too familiar. He was sitting around for days with no paperwork, no real moves, no solid plan, just waiting. And Buck wasn't that young kid anymore. He had responsibilities, he had momentum back home, and he couldn't sit in someone else's waiting room forever.
Then something unexpected happened. One of those moments that flips everything in an instant. Juvenile walked into the Cash Money office and was shocked to see Buck just sitting there, stuck in limbo. Juve was dealing with his own issues with Cash Money at the time, in the middle of his own transition, and when he saw Buck wasting time, he spoke up. He made Buck an offer that would change the direction of his career forever. A moment of timing, tension, and opportunity all hitting at the same time, exactly when Buck needed it most. Buck officially locked in with Juvenile's UTP label, but here's a detail that shows how sharp he really was from early on. Juvenile handed him the contract, told him to sign, but Buck took that paper home, slid it under his bed, and never signed it. That was a next-level move. He dropped 2 projects during that time, Born to Be a Thug on October 10th, 2002, and a UTP Players compilation on October 8th, 2002. But technically, he was never officially locked down on paper. Why would he do that? Because Buck wasn't blind. He had already seen chaos behind the scenes at Cash Money, and he noticed Juvenile was dealing with his own serious problems too. Things weren't stable, beefs were happening, teams were shifting, and Buck didn't want to get stuck in another situation with no control. Even Juvenile told him straight up, if a better opportunity came his way, he should take it. That right there shows how real their connection was. Then came the moment that flipped everything. Buck and Juvenile were on tour, their tour bus stopped in New York, and this was 2002. 50 Cent had the whole city in a chokehold. His buzz was so loud that even people who didn't listen to rap knew his name. The streets were shaking with his mixtapes. The tour bus driver had a plug to 50's former manager, Shaw Money XL, and Buck kept asking him to set up a chance to link with 50. He wasn't shy about it. He wanted that moment. And guess what? It actually happened. 50 stepped on the tour bus, but he was only there to record with Juvenile, not Buck. While Juvenile and 50 were in the back working on tracks, Buck made a genius move. He started playing his own solo joints for Lloyd Banks and Tony Yayo, who were sitting up front. One track in particular grabbed Banks's attention instantly. Banks took that beat straight to the back where 50 was recording. He knew it was something crazy. 50 ended up jumping on it, and that track became Bloodhound on the legendary Get Rich or Die Tryin' album. That song would later introduce Buck to the entire mainstream world. But funny enough, it wasn't the first track the whole crew ever dropped together. That title goes to A Little Bit of Everything on 50 Cent Is the Future, but Bloodhound was the one that made everybody say, "Who is this Buck dude?" 50 liked him instantly. He couldn't offer him a deal yet because even 50 wasn't signed to a major label at that moment, but he didn't forget about him. And when things fell apart with UTP, exactly how Buck expected, fate stepped in again. 50 hit him with the call that would change his whole future. He wanted Buck to fly out to Los Angeles and meet him, Eminem, and Dr. Dre to officially join G Unit. That's the type of moment rappers dream about but never get. After all the letdowns, false starts, and missed chances, Buck finally had the door he always wanted right in front of him.
His first major placement under the G-Unit banner was Bloodhound, but 50 played chess, not checkers. Instead of dropping Buck's solo album immediately, he made a strategic move. He decided to launch the group album Beg for Mercy first to introduce Buck to the world as part of the full squad. The plan worked like magic. Beg for Mercy peaked at number 2 on the Billboard 200 and sold 377,000 copies in the first week. Today, it's moved over 2.7 million units in the US and is nearly diamond worldwide. Buck was officially on the biggest stage you could stand on, and the whole hood was watching his next step. Following the G-Unit formula, Buck dropped his mixtape Welcome to the Hood on May 31st, 2004, hosted by DJ Who Kid, and that built the hype perfectly for his solo debut. On July 2nd, 2004, the first single, Let Me In, featuring 50 Cent, dropped and hit number 34 on the Billboard Hot 100. Then came the moment that stamped him in the game for real. On August 24, 2004, Buck released his debut album, Straight Outta Cashville. The response was massive. The album debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and sold 361,000 copies in its first week, and eventually went platinum. Young Buck had officially made it. The second single, Shorty Wanna Ride, became Buck's biggest solo hit ever, shooting up to number 17 on the Billboard Hot 100. But it wasn't just the chart numbers that made